everybody, welcome to Everyday Science. Today we're going to harvest some seeds. So one of the plants that I work with is called Arabidopsis thaliana, or also mouse-eared cress, and it is a member of the brassica or mustard family. And it is a model plant that we use in research because it's easy to grow and it's little and it grows really fast and it has lots of babies. So usually they look like this in the soil, the little tiny plants. And these are a few weeks old, and then as they get bigger they start to flower. So we've got the nice flowers here. And eventually they're gonna get taller, so get some taller ones over here. And so those will bolt up like this. So we call these the bolts, the flower bolts. And we have little flowers, and they will start to form seed pods. So if you look closely here, we've got some flowers, and then we have this seed pod forming. And so those will start to turn brown and will do what we call senesce. So senescence is where we get this brown color as the seeds and stuff start drying. So if you look closer here, we've got these brown guys, and so these guys have just about dried and are going to be ready to be harvested. So we'll do that right now. Okie dokie, so we have a dried plant here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the flower bolts at the base, like so. And so you can see our little seed pods and stuff like that. And so we're just going to put this guy inside an envelope. And there would be a separate envelope for each plant. And the reason we do that is to make sure that there are no seeds which get sort of mixed up together, especially because these seeds are very small. As I said before, they are in the mustard family. So if you've ever seen a mustard seed, they are really, really tiny. And so since these seeds are dry, we're wanting to make sure that they're completely dry. And the reason for that is we don't want any sort of fungus or bacteria to grow on them. And we also want the seed pods to open. So when they get completely dry, those seed pods will burst open, and then we can collect the seeds. So to do that, we're going to put them inside a vacuum chamber. So here we are at our little vacuum chamber. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this guy up, and we're going to put our seeds that we just harvested, and then we are going to attach it up here. So this hose attaches to a valve which will suck out the air. So I've got to make sure it's good and tight, and then when I open the valve, all of the air is going to get sucked out of this chamber. And so when that happens, that's going to prevent any sort of growth of fungus or any bacteria that's on the seeds or on the plant material, and that is also going to dry them out and remove all of the moisture. So because of that, since this is now under a vacuum, I cannot open it. See? It's just gonna be nice and snug. And so we're going to leave those seeds in there for a couple days. So now that I have my dried seeds, what I'm going to do now is I am going to clean the seeds. So I've got my packet here. And just to make sure that the seeds have all, the seed pods or the sleeks have all burst open, we're going to mush it up. Very scientific. And so I'm actually going to use a sieve like this. And we do that to try and separate the plant material from the seeds. So as I said before, the seeds are really small. So they are going to fall through the sieve versus all of the leftover flower bolts and material is going to stay on top of the sieve. And so I'm just going to pull all that plant material out of there, and I'm going to just sort of push my sieve. And I can throw that away. And then I'm going to pass it through the sieve a few times. And so you can see here is sort of the leftover seed pod or sleek. That's what it's called. And so that is the empty one, sort of the chaff you know, from the plant. So after that, I'll close that up there. All right. Now, since the seeds are nice and dry, they can be kept for quite a long time. I mean, I've had seeds which are up to 10 years old that'll still grow. Although I've found that seeds which are kept in the cold, like refrigerator temperature and really dry, will have a longer shelf life than seeds which are kept at room temperature. Although most of mine I use pretty quickly, within a couple years, so I don't really have a problem. So I've cleaned the seeds, and so what I'm going to do, because they're really small, is I'm just going to use this paper and make a sort of funnel to pour the seeds in and not lose them. So I can just tap the paper. All right. And so now, here are my seeds. So little tiny. So inside there, looks a bit like sand. They're itty bitty tiny. There are thousands upon thousands of seeds in there. And that is just from 1 or 2 plants. So it's one of the reasons that we like working with mouse-eared cress, because you can get so many seeds from such a small plant. So I hope you found this educational. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my website at drunkfido.wordpress.com. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook at drunkfido. Thanks a whole bunch, and don't forget, try to learn every day.